What's up, everybody? Welcome to OP11 and starter deck time. We're going to be watching some Reiju versus Blackbeard here. Blackbeard running some of the new starter deck cards, Reiju running some of the new OP11 cards. Both of these decks got quite a bit of support in this specific set and starter decks that have just released out here. And we see a quick Reiju down immediately. Blackbeard didn't just start turning on the engine just yet. You're probably going to start turning it on the next few turns just to stop the drawing and rush shenanigans from Reiju here. We're going to see 5k swing. Lafitte also came down and did a little bit of searching here, as looks like Reiju likely won the die roll here, trying to take Blackbeard off of its preferred curve. Right, likes to go second. We can see a new card there. The 10-drop Teach is in the yard, but we saw a pickup of the Kuzan here. 10-drop Teach likely going to yard because we've got some new cards in the deck that allow us to fetch cards out of the yard. We see a Liberation come off of the top, and yeah, pretty solid. Let's see another Teach. Is that a manga Teach? We flexing over here? Yeah, so another Teach in the yard. You may be wondering, why is this Blackbeard player throwing away all these 10-cost Teaches? Well, that's because there's a new 7-cost Teach that on KO can get you back any black character out of the yard into your hand. So effectively, you can use the 10-drop Teaches to try to pitch, and then kind of play into the 7-drop Teach, and then if your opponent tries to take care of it, you'll be able to get your Teaches back anyways and start playing them out later in the game. So right now, probably trying to pick up a bit of counter, and look like they pick up a blocker for the potentially the 7 Dawn turn. And we're gonna see a swing for 5. Gonna take that second one here, as the first one took out Lafitte. No trigger off the top, and we're going to play out another Reiju. Reiju going to play out another Reiju. This Reiju is going to draw a card. No on plays look like, but it is going to put into play the new 2K Reiju. That Reiju, incredibly strong card. I actually had to read it. I actually got to reread it recently. I didn't realize it looked at the top 5, grabbed a Germana card, and then you trash the rest. So incredibly strong card for Reiju. Also a 2K. As we see a Jesus Burgess going to hand. We're going to see a 5k swing into the tapped Reiju. We're going to definitely try to protect our board as much as possible before a lot of these KO effects start happening. As we see a Burgess come down and a pass back to Blackbeard. Reiju's got a bit of a solid board. Just going to keep trying to build out some threats here to try to keep the aggression going. Doing the negative abilities every turn is going to kind of set themselves back on Dawn, but they do have the Black Maria. Black Maria is going to allow them to try to start catching up on Dawn here, as Blackbeard just continues to ramp up here. We're going to see a 5k swing go into lead. Going to take that one. Ends up hitting a trigger, a finger pistol. Going to take out the other Reiju. One less attacker this turn for Reiju's side. Very unfortunate. Really nice trigger for the Blackbeard side, but not what Reiju wanted to see here, as likely they were just going to do some swinging here. Probably going to play out the Porsche, or potentially just another Reiju here. We're going to see a big old 6k swing go into lead here. Just going to take that one, go down to 2 life. No trigger off the top, and then 3 more Dawn to work with. Could swing 5k with the Sanji, but instead just going to play out the Porsche here. Porsche, no on plays, so no Dawn minusing, no looking, no putting anything into play. Just a 5k body for 3. And we're going to see Liberation get thrown away here, as they are on their 7 Dawn turn. Could instead go for the 7-cost Teach or the Kuzan blocker here. Does not look like they have 7-cost Teach in hand. We're going to see what they decide to do here as they're counting up their Dawn. 7 Dawn, they did add the new Kuzan blocker to hand earlier in the game, so we could see that coming out here. As we see a 6k swing go in, going to get a 2k counter out of hand. And this Burgess is a bit large. So we're going to get a quick graveyard trash assessment here. 2 stacks of 4, 3 stacks of 4. Yeah, it looks like there are at least 3k power worth of cards there for Burgess. So Burgess now an 8k attacker. I'm going to swing 8k into Reiju. It would require 2Ks to get out of. Just going to let it go here. And we're going to see the Kuzan blocker come down. Kuzan blocker, new card from the starter deck, as well as an activation of leader effect. Kuzan 6k blocker, when on KO, you can get back a 5-cost or less Blackbeard Powers card character rested onto the field. So it could grab the 5-cost Kuzan, could grab the Van Augur, I think is his name. Could also just pick up another Burgess if there's another Burgess in the yard. Swing 5k, gonna get a counter, gonna swing 5k again with the Sanji. Gonna take a counter, got 2 and a block off of the other one here, and gonna see 3 Dawn tapped. Adding some Dawn. back off of the Black Maria. Black Maria pretty solid right now. Gonna allow them to try to come back here as they return a bit of their Dawn to also enable their leader ability. Without suiting up, Reiju's leader ability is not going to be doing too much. We see a 5k swing into Sanji, going to clean that up. An activation of the stage. Looking at the top 3, going to grab something pretty. Going to grab a 2k. Definitely want to stack up on some counter here as they are on their 9 Dawn turn. Can't necessarily put out Teach yet, but we're going to see a big old swing. At least a 9k swing into the 5k. Just going to let that go here. And playing another Lafitte. Lafitte going to search. Going to grab just another blocker. I think Blackbeard's going fully on the defensive train now, just trying to deal with the board as Reiju's done a little bit of work, able to actually clear Reiju's entire board here, filling top 2 off of Finger Pistol. So Reiju's basically left with 1 attacker, Kuzan blocker plus the other blocker there. Vasco shots means this is gonna be pretty tough. We're gonna see the Blackbeard get aggressive, swing 7 with Kuzan, gonna activate leader effect, pitching another Finger Pistol, and go back to Reiju here. Reiju's gonna need a little bit of luck here, but all of the cards unfortunately have on plays. Does have the 4-drop Ichiji, could develop into a 7k Ichiji this turn, but it does not have rush because again on plays are not active. Pretty unfortunate matchup here for Reiju. Reiju was able to get on the board kind of quickly to actually whittle down Blackbeard to at least 1 life before they start resolving 10-drop Teaches, but Blackbeard seeing a lot of the versatility of some of the new cards coming out here. So the 6-drop Kuzan blocker, state of blocker 1 turn, 1 Dawn attached, can be a 7k swinger, and then Vasco shots. Haven't seen 7-drop Teach yet. Could potentially play it on this next turn if Reiju decides to just try to go wide on board here. We're going to see a 5k swing first, baiting out either a block or a card from hand. Not too many cards in Blackbeard's hand at this point. We know there's 2k in hand at least. We'll see what Blackbeard decides to do here. Could just use the Vasco shots. Could also just use a card from hand. A little bit of tough decisions, reaching for a card from hand. Gonna get that 2k that we saw earlier. I guess there was only 2 cards in hand, so only limited options here. We're gonna play the Porsche out. Porsche's not gonna put anything into play. Gonna play an Ichiji out. Gonna activate it. Put the other one into play. Gonna draw a card off of Reiju. Still got 2 more Dawn left. Unfortunately, not enough to establish another body. We're gonna pass back to Teach. We got 2 big threats on Reiju's side as well as the leader swing. Could see the 10-drop Teach come down this turn, but we have seen 2 get milled so far, 2 get discarded. Are we going to see one coming off here? Also got a stage activation for Teach to try to find something. We're going to see an activation of Lafitte. I guess that means that we're not even going to potentially try for the 10-drop Teach this turn. We see one come up in the top 5, but we also see that 7-cost Teach. But that 7-cost Teach would allow Blackbeard to take out the Porsche to try to stymie some of the aggression on the other side of the board here. But 2 blockers on Teach's side. Teach is feeling pretty comfortable knowing that they'll at least potentially, if they can't clear the board here, going to take at least 1 life, right? If they can't take out this take out 1 character, because those 3 swings are going to be swinging probably pretty hefty with only 2 cards in hand. Kind of thinking a little bit hard here. 7-drop Teach could actually be a pretty good play. I could grab 7-drop Teach, KO the Porsche, kind of set yourself up in a situation where you know you're not going to go to 0 on this next turn if you potentially want to use both your blockers. And we're going to see another activation off of the stage. Going to grab a Burgess, and yeah, we've got basically enough Dawn to potentially swing 2 decently sized attacks. Burgess on its own is big enough to swing at least 9 to 10k. And then could attach like 1 or 2 to Teach, and then use the rest to just play out the Burgess, or play out the Teach here. We're gonna see a Teach activation, putting the Burgess in the yard, and yeah, we're gonna do exactly that. We're gonna swing 7k lead here, just gonna try to pressure Reiju's life a bit. We're gonna see 2k, 1k come out here, and now we're gonna go, I think, a big old 10 or 11 swing here. Just going to take that one, and I think Blackbeard's just trying to set themselves up to try to go for game on this next turn, especially with taking out the Porsche. They're sitting pretty comfortable knowing that yeah, they're at least going to have either 1 life in a blocker, or no blockers, or yeah, they'll either have no blockers and 1 life, or 2 blockers, or 1 blocker and 0 life could potentially sit up on this next turn. But having 11k on the board, a 6k on board, as well as an 8k on board, pretty strong for the Teach side. We're going to see an activation immediately cashing it in for Burgess. Incredibly strong card, the Kuzan, especially when your opponent doesn't have a whole lot of board advantage right now. Just coming down as just an 11k at the end of the game rested, not a big deal for the Blackbeard player to worry about. Definitely Reiju is going to be hurting here, as there's going to be a whole lot of aggression on this next turn. We're going to see a 6k go at lead here. Oh shit, I just slapped the shit out of that. Slapped the mic. Sorry if I jump scared you there. But just going to get the 2k out of hand. Blackbeard was sitting on one final 2k as they go completely hellbent, no cards in hand. We're going to see activation of stage. Going to pick up the Ichiji blocker, new card from OP11 that's been seeing play in the Reiju deck. Unfortunately, we don't have a little kid Ichiji to put this into play, but we do have able to set up a blocker. Blocker plus 2 life does allow Reiju to potentially survive on this next turn. But we'll see how Blackbeard can navigate around this, right? At least got 3 big attackers plus a whole lot of Dawn to work with. If we see something like a Teach come up the top, this will be pretty rough, right? Teach could potentially seal the deal with only 2 cards in hand on Reiju's side. Additionally, like one of the negation effects, right? So if we see Black Hole could also potentially seal the game here. Just being able to turn off blocker on the Vinsmoke Ichiji. Doing a pretty quick count up. I think those Burge Scissors are at least 12Ks now. Got at least 7K worth of additional power. We're gonna see an activation of stage. Gonna pitch away a 2K, going for a Hail Mary here, and we don't find one of those pieces we're looking for, but we do find another search piece. This pretty much takes you off of Teach now at this point. We did see 2 Teaches go in the yard, 1 on the bottom, so there's a Teach definitely in the middle of the deck at this point. We're gonna see my age go off, which basically says we gotta find a black hole or bust, and we don't find a black hole. And yeah, they ended up seeing the Teach off of that, so very unfortunate. Teach was just a little too deep for them to play that out. Could also just activate Lafitte here. Still, black hole is an out for the opponent here as a potential way to get around this and be able to swiftly deliver lethal. I think Blackbeard's just trying to decide how much Dawn they want to use, how do they want to do the math, right? Depending if Reiju often has a whole lot of 2Ks, right? So Reiju could have 2Ks in hand, 2Ks in life, which would make it pretty hard for them to go for game here. But getting something to neutralize that blocker, pretty good. Now that blocker does have an activate main. If all of your characters are Germa, you do get to give your leader plus 1,000 power for a battle. So really think of it as at least 9K counter, right? At max, right? So 4 2Ks plus a 1K. So we'll see what ends up happening here. I think we're going to see an activation, I guess, at this point, looking for black hole or bust. A whole lot of searching going on right here. Biggest search we can do this turn, top 5. Find the black hole. Is this the end here for Reiju? We're going to see 4 Dawn used to negate the effect of Nichiji. This also negates the +1, right? So no longer 9K, just 8K. We're going to see big swing, and then huge swings here as an 8, 9, 12, 12 finishes up the game. Reiju had a pretty strong start. Unfortunately, Teach just had a whole lot of ways to clean up the board. The finger pistol trigger was also incredibly good. But yeah, if you enjoy this type of content, definitely subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.